I pulled up to the abandoned amusement park, the headlights of my car barely piercing through the thick mist that hung around like it belonged there. I needed the extra cash, but one look at the decaying rides and crumbling structures made me question if this night shift was worth it. The place was dead silent, save for the faint creak of metal in the distance. I took a deep breath and stepped out of the car, hoping I'd make it through the night. Inside the security office, everything looked frozen in time, covered in dust and cobwebs. My flashlight beam caught a piece of paper lying on the desk. I squinted to read it. It was a list of rules. Do not look directly at the carousel after midnight, it said, among other cryptic instructions. My stomach nodded. I was here to watch for intruders, but these rules made it sound like there were things I should be worried about inside the park itself. As I walked through the park, my flashlight flickered over the bumper cars. I thought I saw shadows moving, figures almost. I took a step closer, heart pounding, but the shadows melted away as I approached. I shook my head, telling myself it was just the mist playing tricks, but the unease settled deeper into my bones. At midnight, I found myself standing near the carousel, remembering the first rule. Don't look directly at it. But something about it was compelling. The horse's eyes seemed to follow me, even though they were frozen, chipped paint and all. And then, faintly, I heard carnival music drifting from somewhere, though everything around me was silent. I clenched my fists and forced myself to turn away, resisting the urge to look back. As I moved away from the carousel, I heard it, the sound of music coming from the Ferris wheel. My pulse quickened as I remembered the rule. If you hear music from the Ferris wheel, leave immediately. I started to back away, but something caught my eye. High up in one of the carts, a lone figure sat, pale and ghostly in the moonlight. I didn't wait to find out if it would move. I turned and hurried in the opposite direction. I was trying to calm myself when I heard a noise from the funhouse. Against my better judgment, I walked toward it. The clown animatronics were standing still, but as I passed by, their heads slowly turned to follow me, their painted eyes cold and unblinking. The rule came rushing back to me: avoid the clowns. I took a step back, then another, until I was practically running. I reached the area with the old ball pit and froze. A child, maybe 6 or 7 years old, was standing in the middle, eyes wide and staring straight at me. My first instinct was to help, but then I remembered, if a child appears alone, do not try to help them. I swallowed hard as I realized the child's face was shifting, eyes darkening and mouth twisting into something monstrous. I forced myself to look away and kept walking, though my whole body wanted to run. Passing the cotton candy stand, I heard my name whispered. Softly at first, then louder. I stopped in my tracks, heart pounding. Don't respond, I reminded myself, gripping my flashlight until my knuckles turned white. The whispers grew louder, almost pleading, but I forced myself to walk on, eyes fixed straight ahead. I stumbled into the mirror maze, breathing heavily. My reflection was everywhere, distorted and twisted in ways that made my skin crawl. And then I heard footsteps behind me, getting closer. I spun around, but there was no one there, only reflections, watching me with hollow eyes. Panic took over, and I started running, desperate to find the exit. I finally burst out of the maze, my heart pounding like a hammer. Ahead, I saw the rusty gates of the exit. I sprinted, not daring to look back even as I heard laughter and music echoing from the park behind me. As I threw myself into the car and sped away, the haunted sights and sounds faded into the mist, but their chill lingered, following me all the way home.